Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuhu. My name is Abdulrahman Latif. I am a new Yaqeen fellow. This is my first paper. I'm rather not really accustomed to being recorded or recording, so please forgive me if this goes wrong. There's a verse of the Quran that's always stuck out at me, and I think it really unsettles people perhaps when they read it. It's where Allah Ta'ala is saying that He's going to create Adam alayhi salam as this Khalifa, this caretaker, or however you want to translate it, on the earth. And the angels, they ask, are you going to create someone, something that spreads corruption on the earth, that sheds blood? And Allah Ta'ala answers, indeed, I know that which you do not know. And it's unsettling because the angels aren't wrong. Humankind sheds so much blood. We spread so much corruption. Look what we've done with this environment. Look at the number of species we've destroyed. Look at the millions of people that were killed in the last century, not because of natural disasters, but because of what we have done, the wars that we have caused. But Allah Ta'ala says, and Allah is always right, but He knows what the angels do not know. He knows what we do not know. We have a capacity to transcend, to rise above, and when we turn towards Allah Ta'ala, when we submit ourselves to the divine, we can really be so much more. So I've been trying to remind myself of this message as the refugee crisis in the world weighs rather heavily on my heart, and I think all our hearts. And we see that over 20 million people are legally classified as refugees, over 60 million really are forcibly displaced. There's so many people who can't go home, who miss the place where they grew up, who miss where they established themselves or established their families and are forced into foreign lands, just trying to get by. And when I see that, I just want to stop and remember that we can be more than this. Alhamdulillah, there are so many positive efforts that are happening today. But I really wanted in this paper to look back at history, at how Muslims have risen in these types of circumstances, how they've taken care of refugees in the past. So inshallah, this is to inspire us for today, to remind us that Allah knows what we don't know. SubhanAllah. And so I looked at four major incidents in this paper. The situation of the companions and the Ansar, and the Muhajirs and the Ansar, and how the earliest community in our faith consisted of refugees and those that took care of refugees, that there's shared brotherhood between them was something that allowed a faith to thrive and affect billions throughout history. That's what happens when we rise above, when we take care of others, and we don't let barriers or borders rise between us. Looked at a few other circumstances as well, of course, looking at what happened during the Crusades, when the Inquisition, the Reconquista happened, and Muslims were taking in both Muslims and non-Muslims. And even more recently in World War II, where Albania took in more Jews, I think, than any other European country at the time, and really acted in that prophetic tradition, the tradition of the Ansar and the Muhajirs, just to act as brothers. This paper really, normally when you write an academic paper, it's kind of a gloomy or stressful experience, but this one was actually a bit uplifting to write. So I hope, inshallah, that you get a bit of feel of that amidst the jargon and, you know, chunky sentences. And I ask your forgiveness. If there's anything wrong in this, please don't be afraid to send me corrections or what have you. And I think they asked us to talk about future work or what we're working on next a little bit. So inshallah, I think this paper especially has made me think a lot about human dignity and just the ways in which people can be degraded by others, and how Islam really tries to protect us from that and tries to preserve human dignity as much as possible. So I think I want to look in, for future research a little bit on that. uh, to ponder that a little bit. There's a book I've been reading called Muhammad's Graves, and it's an interesting book on early Islamic history. And there's so much there that I never really thought of just how careful we are with Muslims even when they've passed away, how they're still pure in a way. This makes me reflect on that concept of dignity. So inshallah, keep an eye out for that maybe. We'll see what happens with it, inshallah. Jazakumullah khair, barakallah feek.